Hey guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to my channel, and today we are doing something a little bit different. I saw an ad on Facebook for this baking snake that apparently lets you bake a cake in a whole bunch of different shapes by just linking the bands together. I was intrigued, I had $5 to spare, so I thought I would try it out and share the results with you guys too. So without further ado, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on, and let's hop right into it. To start off, I thought I would show you guys my favorite recipe for yellow cake. You're going to need 3 cups of flour, then add in a tablespoon of baking powder, and a little pinch of salt, about a 1/4 teaspoon or so. And then just grab yourself a whisk and mix that all through. Then in a separate bowl, you'll want to add in 2 sticks of really nice soft butter, and cream that until it is nice and light and fluffy. Once you've got that looking good, just throw in 2 cups of sugar, and continue mixing. And then once that's nice and smooth, we're going to crack in 4 eggs and just mix those in one at a time. And if you don't have any room temperature eggs, just throw them into some warm water for about 10 minutes and that should bring them up to temp really fast. You might have heard of that tip, but I still think it's a good one. Next up, we're going to add in a tablespoon of vanilla extract and just continue mixing. Once that's nice and smooth, we're going to add in about 1/3 of the dry ingredients and mix those in. Then we'll add in half of our milk and continue mixing that in as well. And then just continue alternating wet and dry ingredients just until everything is combined. The reason we do this is just so that the batter doesn't curdle or anything, just because sometimes introducing milk can do that to your batter. So as long as you finish up with the dry ingredients, your batter should be beautifully smooth. And I do like to use a spatula to just finish off mixing that batter, just to make sure I don't overmix. And now it's time for our baking bands. I'll leave a link to where I got these ones down below, but again, they are only $5, which you really can't beat. And supposedly you can just lock these together just like this, and this part actually does work pretty well. You can either intersect them to make a corner, or you can interlock them to make a smooth edge. The only thing is that right at the top of the heart there, you can see where the bands overlap, and that I didn't like that much just because you do have a little indentation of your cake there. Regardless, I was excited to try this out, so I placed it on a baking sheet lined with foil, and then I greased it with cooking spray, and then I just filled up our mold and spread it out. At this point, I noticed that it started to expand a little bit from the weight of the batter, so I tried to kind of reshape it a little bit, but then after kind of poking it around for like 10 minutes, it was pretty clear that it wasn't going to stay like that, so I figured I could just carve it afterwards if I wanted to. And then I baked it off at 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes. Once it came out of the oven, the cake looks pretty good as you can see from this angle, but from a top angle, it kind of resembles more of an actual human heart than the cute kind of heart that I was going for. I will say that the sides remove really easily, however, it's not shaped like a heart, so I was a little disappointed, but regardless, we still had some yummy cake batter left, so I decided to go for something a little bit simpler, and I figured you can't really go wrong with the circles, because if it expands, it'll expand in all directions anyways. However, since they do recommend that you bake these on foil, I noticed that the bottom of the cakes got super dark, so next time I would maybe try parchment and that might work better. Regardless of their actual functionality, I was still hungry for cake, so I decided to just take the scraps and turn it into some kind of cake. Was not really digging the whole human heart kind of look for the first one, so I chopped it into a circle, and then I started trimming up the rest of the pieces, and eventually decided to make a tiered cake. Except I eventually took off that top tier because, let's be real, it looks kind of dumb. Then once I had all my cakes ready to go, I just started off by crumb coating the first cake. Then after chilling that in the fridge for a little bit, I applied the final layer of frosting. I'm not being super perfect with these because I was just kind of seeing if I could turn the misshapen cakes into something cute, so I didn't spend a ton of time on the flat frosting. But I did have a lot of fun doing this because usually I always have a plan when I'm going into my cake decorating, but this was fun because I kind of just got to freestyle it. And then to cover up that gap, I decided to grab some pink frosting and just pipe on a shell border. And then because you can never have too many shell borders, as they say, I added one on the top and bottom of the cake as well. And this technique is super simple, by the way. You're just gonna grab a star tip, hold your bag at a 45-degree angle, and then apply a short burst of pressure and release. And then do that like 500 times. Then for a little bit of color, I sprinkled on some rainbow nonpareils. And then to top off the cake, I piped a little more frosting on top. And then I popped on a donut that I had just dipped in chocolate and added some sprinkles on. Then I added on some royal icing decorations, and these are actually left over from my homemade sprinkles video. And I'll have that video linked in a card on screen. And I actually really like how this cake came out. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun, simple cake decorating idea, I got you covered. So that is trying out these baking bands, and I'm really curious what you guys think of them. So make sure you leave me a comment down below letting me know if you would try these out or not. I personally think it's a good idea that was just poorly executed. For these to really work well, they have to have more of a grip to the baking sheet so the batter doesn't leak out and so that the cake batter doesn't make the mold expand. Regardless though, I had a fun time making this and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And if you did, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. You can also follow me on social media at kawaiisweetwearld and check out my Etsy sticker shop where I sell different planner stickers that you can just throw in your agenda to help you stay motivated and organized. And that is all I have for you guys today. I'll see you back here very soon. Bye guys!